Hello guys, I'm going to continue on my quick start guide video series where I'm going to take all of the 2000 gold heroes in the game and I want to kind of show off an easy but effective playstyle that makes these heroes very strong and allows new players to fill out their rosters with not only strong heroes but heroes that they can get a lot of effectiveness with without feeling like, hey, there's this huge amount of heroes in the game that are all 10,000 gold. I want to show you the power that you can have out of heroes that are only 2,000 gold, so you can get that roster filled out and potentially get into ranked with your friends and play around with some powerful heroes and builds. With that being said, we're going to be talking about Diablo. Now, Diablo is a tricky one for me because I would recommend that he isn't 2,000 gold because he's a rather difficult hero to play, especially in the tank role. ETC has a lot of ways to get out of a bad fight if you make a mistake, but Diablo doesn't. His first ability, Shadow Charge, charges an enemy hero, an enemy, and it can be terrain, it could be anything, and if you charge that target into a wall, they will get stunned and take extra damage. So you can see I charged him into a turret, which is considered terrain. He was stunned and he took extra damage. This ability is tricky because it requires you to have great positioning, and if you mess up, you could put yourself in a really bad position where, let's say I charge this guy and I'm trying to get away, I'm slowed, I'm rooted, I'm just going through a whole bunch of problems, and if he had an enemy team, I would have been dead there. And so that's a downside about Shadow Charge, and this is really the downside about Diablo in general, is he's very risky, he's all in. So you have to really know when to go in. And I'm going to give you the same rules I gave about ETC. When your whole team is attacking a target, that's usually the time that you want to be going in with a Shadow Charge. I also want to point out that there are some easier abilities and combos that you can do, but let me explain the rest of his abilities. Fire Stomp unleashes a fire wave towards a targeted area. It looks like this, and it deals increased damage on the way back. It also heals you for a small portion of the damage dealt. By small portion, I mean more than the damage dealt. It fires out at 26 damage, then does about triple the damage on the way back. Now, I do want to point out something really quick about his Overpower. You grab the target, slam it behind you, and you deal damage. I really like using this near walls where you pull a target and then you slam them. So where most people are going to be expecting a Diablo to charge them directly into a wall, so they're going to stand away from walls. So I go up like this, and now he's too far to slam into this wall, but he is close enough for me to flip into this wall. So I like to use those in combination, and it allows you to stay a little bit safer to your team as well, because you can just walk up to people and use your Overpower. I generally like to stay mounted up as I'm walking up with the Overpower so that you're not just constantly chasing people down. And those are his first three abilities: Shadow Charge, Fire Stomp, and Overpower. Generally on Diablo, what you want to be doing in a fight is staying mounted up, looking for a good opportunity, going in, flipping for your team, and then throwing out a W so that when it returns, you're going to be doing a lot of damage and healing for quite a bit. Then your build really changes the overall playstyle. Now, the build I'm going to be giving you guys is an auto attack build. Currently, it's one of the easier playstyles on Diablo, and it also has a ton of utility. It's also one of the tankiest playstyles. The major downside to this playstyle is you lose a lot of power whenever you die. What I mean by that is Diablo has a stacking buff that he gets called Black Soulstone. The more he gets, he will increase his health. So every 10 souls, every soul increases your maximum health by 0.3%. If you have 100 souls, upon dying, you lose all of those souls and you come back to life. The problem is losing those souls is really going to negatively affect most of his builds, because his builds affect his maximum health. And since his maximum health will be lower, you're going to lower your build. So I'm going to be talking about the auto attack build and how to play it, and why it's the build I recommend for new players. So the first thing to note about auto attack build is you're going to be taking a talent called Feast on Fear. Stunning an enemy hero will allow you to heal yourself for 12% of your maximum health. Your E stuns and your Q stuns, meaning if I were to flip this guy, you can see my maximum health is being increased and I'm getting these heals. Not increased, but getting heals. Then level 4, we're going to be taking Life Leech. Every time you basic attack someone, and a basic attack is just simply one of these, but that's on a minion, you would want to basic attack a hero. You will gain 2% of your maximum health and 1 soul. If you happen to be at 100 souls, you will gain 4% of your max health instead. This can be a great talent for gaining a lot of your life back, especially when you get to that 100 souls. So we'll be able to watch as we get closer to that 100 souls. And again, I stun him if I need that extra healing from that #1 talent. And this build is all about a crazy amount of healing. Now you can see I'm gaining more health than he's dealing damage to me. Now he's a tank, so we don't really expect a tank to be able to kill most tanks. So that's really the basic idea from there. Then we grab Diabolical Momentum. Each basic attack is going to lower the cooldown of both of your stuns. So both of your stuns heal you, and all of your basic attacks decrease the cooldown of your stuns. So you can be using your E, and then your basic attacks are going to lower the cooldown of your E, allowing you to use it once again. And so the actual healing numbers of that is pretty good. We're going to be taking Apocalypse as your ultimate ability. What Apocalypse does is when you activate this, no matter where the enemies are on the map, it will create a small zone around them, and if they don't move out of the way, they will be stunned and take a decent amount of damage. The problem with this talent is that oftentimes it will... you'll activate this, all the enemies run away, and it doesn't get any value. What I recommend is learning this particular combo. You get into range of your Q, so right here I'm in range of the Q to Arthas. You're going to pop your ult, your Q, and then your E, and you will always stun the target. So once again, ult, Q, E, and you will always stun the target with your ult, guaranteeing one stun will always go off on that target. If you can practice that combo in try mode by going to your collection, going to Diablo, and clicking try mode, and practicing that on Arthas several times, you will be by far and much better than most other Diablo players around your skill level. Level 13, we will be taking Cruelty, which means every time that you stun, not only are you going to be gaining health by using Feast on Fear, but you're also going to be gaining attack speed. So, and because of your attack speed, you're going to be lowering your cooldowns more. So it's going to look like this. You're going to attack much faster, lower your cooldowns much faster, and it also stacks. So if you can get a decent amount of attack speed, you can have this attack speed going almost forever, which is really, really powerful, especially when you add up the potential healing of this. Let's say that I was under a tower and going against Arthas, right? I'm under this tower, I flip him, I stun him, and watch my attack speed. Right? And then I can flip him, and I can stun him, and look, I'm out healing the damage of towers, which generally do a lot of damage, and I'm still able to kill the target. So I was able to take out a tank and almost stun lock the tank while out healing all the damage that the towers and he would do to me. This is where the power of this build comes, and the last piece of this build can either be Domination or Overpowering Nightmare. For new players, I recommend Overpowering Nightmare since it gives you multiple charges of Overpower, but for advanced players, I recommend Domination as it's great to pull the enemies into your team. So let's say you're all running towards like this Arthas, and we start off with a combo, and we pull them here, he gets stunned, and then we push them back into our team. And that's what I really like about using this, and it's great also if you get someone caught in between two different walls. Let's say right here, I slam him into a wall, I flip him in, and I slam him into another wall. It's a lot of burst damage, it's enough to kill most squishy targets, so I do recommend that. And finally, Hellgate. I recommend Hellgate as a very simple combo where you just Hellgate and then flip them back onto the Hellgate and then you pop your Apocalypse. So the easiest Hellgate combo is you will use Hellgate to jump onto a target and then just flip. So it's going to look kind of like this. Hellgate, flip onto the Hellgate, ult. When the ult is stunning, then you just charge them into a wall and you kill them. You can stun a target for about 5 seconds straight with this, and now this build is done. So generally what you do is you wait until the fight is kind of committed, and then you're going to look to get a wall stun. If you can't get a wall stun, no big deal. You're going to charge in, you're going to flip to get the attack speed, and you're going to lower the cooldown of your abilities and out heal the damage of the enemy team. When you start getting into the later levels, you're going to be trying to always start with an APOC combo on a squishy target that your team is already attacking or that's already in range of your team, and that way you instantly kill off one target of the enemy team. You out heal the damage of the rest of the targets while your team wins the team fight. It is an all-in build, so make sure to play it safe, and that is your Diablo quick start guide for new and intermediate players so they can learn the playstyle of Diablo. I do have more guides on Diablo, so you can check out those videos to see more playstyle of in-game footage, so you can make sure to see those. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell well so you can see the rest of the quick start guides. If you're a new player, this is one of the best ways to fill out your roster, is getting good at the cheaper heroes in the game so you can learn which role really fits your playstyle. Thank you guys so much, and feel free to check out my other videos.